Welcome back to the Sun Island, guys. This is the second of two episodes with D. It was very informative, our last meeting, so we had to actually split episodes in two, and this is the second one. So, guys, just enjoy.
Welcome to the Sun Island.
So, what is the typical timeline from the moment you speak to a client, regular residential home, to the time they get the job completed?
So it just depends. So you got a couple different customers. It's not that many, but in the residential field, you either got a retail customer who's going to pay out of pocket, and that's few and far and in between, or the customer who's using insurance. So obviously, once we go and assess that the roof does have any type of peril, hail damage, or loose shingles or anything like that, we recommend that they get an insurance adjuster to come out, call the insurance to see what the deductible may be and if this qualifies for insurable replacement. That part is solely based on the insurance companies. Sometimes I've had adjusters come out the same week. Sometimes I've had adjusters wait 2 weeks. It just depends on how busy. But once the customer gets that back and they get a good estimate from the adjuster, we go through and make sure that we cover every single aspect that the insurance needs to be covered, to make sure that if we need to replace gutters, replace any other components of the roof that may not been in the original scope, we go ahead and get that replaced. We also can do garage doors and different things like that, because when the adjuster comes out, they're going to look at everything on a dwelling. So once we get all that information in and we figure out that, okay, this is what we need to do, and the customer says, hey, yeah, we do want to sign with you and sign the contract, we typically order material. Our material delivery can be anywhere between 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
Once the material is on the ground, we're ready to go. So from the signing of the contract to us actually finishing the job, it can take anywhere from 3 to 5 days.
Okay, 3 to 5 days.
And again, that's all dependent on the size of the home, but on average, it's about 5 days from start to finish. Now, if we want to estimate from material delivery, depending on the size, we can do it in the same day sometimes. We start really early. On average, it's about 2 days, 2 or 3 days.
And the reason why I legit asked that question, I do know, as you mentioned, a lot of roofer trying to transition or get into solar, but a lot of time I do actually see them, from my experience, I see them struggle to get into space. And that's why I asked that question, because for me now I'm thinking, is it a timeline thing? Because solar can be a little bit longer, because you got to get permitting and stuff like that. So it can go up to 3 months sometimes.
Yeah, so a little bit about the contracting industry and a little history of it. Again, kind of where we started, a lot of those owners are blue collar workers. So when it comes to solar, really anything else, government work or anything that's outside of what I do in regards to insurance and retail, in regards like a lot of paperwork, a lot of patience, and a lot of regulations you got to follow. And a lot of these guys, they're really good at what they do. I want to get up there, I want to put a roof on, I want to go. Right? And so a lot of those individuals get discouraged or kind of take a step back because they don't want to go through the process. They don't want to go through the waiting. If I told you that I can order material, have it there tomorrow, I can start tomorrow and be done by Sunday, it's like, hey, I'm in and out and I got my money. Right?
That's it. Follow the money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
But if I get a contract and you said, hey, I want you to do the work for me. I want you to give me 3 references. I want you to provide me photos and a detailed outline of exactly how you're going to replace the roof. I want to see the permit before you start, which will require you to go to the permitting office, maybe wait in a line. depending on what municipality or jurisdiction you're in, it may take a couple days, a week. I've seen some say 2 weeks sometimes. And so a lot of roofers don't want to do that. They just want to get in and get out. So that's a story I've seen in relation to a lot of things like that, entering a different space. It kind of hard for a lot of blue collar owners to maneuver and shift like that.
That makes sense. And then he said, follow the money just now. So there's a thing that storm chasers, right? I know that's a thing when it comes down to how is that a thing and how does it work and like
there are programs that'll tell you and that'll actually notify you that, hey, there's been a hailstorm or a wind event or maybe a major storm that goes through certain areas. They'll ping you.
There was a tornado recently over here.
I think it hit Pasadena.
It ripped down a fence in my community. I don't know if it clearly wasn't a tornado, but because it was high winds, it ripped down a whole fence on a corner lot, like flat.
And that's
my trash can blew down to the next end of the street. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to see, but when it's weird for everybody else, and as bad as it sounds, is blowing green dollars everywhere for a roofer.
A regular roof.
Blowing green dollars everywhere for a roofer.
That's funny. So it's like, and I'm just imagining the leaves of the tree being money. That's funny. So as far as the folks who would be interested in a new roof but yet still not have made that decision, right? So they know that they need a roof. They know that their roof is, dilapidated. Why do a lot of people just keep dilapidated roof and not just get a new roof?
Well, because they get their quote back. So I think a lot of it comes with education, and that's what I kind of build on is educating the customer, being transparent, and having a one-stop shop and a turnkey option for all of our customers to do everything in one place, deal with one set of people, and don't have to worry about, doing a dance with multiple individuals. But again, a lot of people just don't know roofs are expensive, and a lot of people don't understand that their insurance options either. Which is we do insurance reporting also. So we'll come and assess for completely free if you have any type of storm damage. And if you do, we'll walk you through the process of filing a claim.
So, as an entrepreneur, you know how to take wins and losses, right?
Oh, yeah. A lot of losses. You learn how to take more losses than you take wins.
Right. Yeah, it's like, you got to swing, man. You got to stay in the game.
Yep.
A lot of people get out the game, right? They don't want to swing often enough to actually get that home run.
No, not at all. And, you might not hit the ball at bat the first time when you approach the plate, but eventually you'll hit a home run if you keep approaching. A lot of us in the entrepreneur space hit a wall. It's getting past that wall, man. Everybody hits it.
If we're gonna keep the same along that same metaphoric where we're going, you made a big swing recently.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, it's pretty simple. Big swing, but a big miss too, and all of them strikes. But building, we just got into the government space and the contracting space. Okay. So we've been filling out the ropes and doing a lot of the legwork. We've been traveling across the state, seeing jobs and seeing where we can help out and actually grow our business. And we finally got our bids in for our first government contract. It took a couple months for us to get everything in order and making sure that, we have safety plans in order, making sure that, we have enough money for per diem for our guys and, hotel stays and making sure everybody has that OSHA 30. And there's a lot of steps that goes into it. And then we go ahead and when we finally get our opportunity to say, hey, we fit this criteria, we can do it. I know we're the best, and we submit it. And then today I found out we lost.
Oh, so what's that submittal process like? After you do all that submitting, as far as making sure you got your per diem, everything situated, do you just go present, or you just send an email? How does that work?
No,
And me being a small business as well, I would like to get into some government contract. I would like to figure out how to go about that.
So it all depends how the bid is requested and how the solicitation has to be submitted. Some entities will require you to submit it electronically. Some entities will require you to send in a sealed bid, which that's something else you have to pay for to make sure it gets there on time. But essentially, you will come up with a technical proposal, exactly what you plan to do with the project, exactly how you plan to carry it out. A lot of them require you to have things like safety managers on site. They want to see past performance. They want to see that you can perform the work. And a lot of them want a bid bond also to make sure that you stay true to your word and you won't just lowball the bid and just to get the job and you can't really perform it. So you do all that, and then they'll have a contracting officer that you'll communicate with, and they'll give you great details on, who to submit the information to or what platform to upload it to.
So where do you ever find the next one to apply to? Is there like a website you go to, or you just kind of keep your ears to the ground?
Well, it's all public information. You can go to sam.gov to get all the information, and it's all by NAICS code or it's essentially trade codes. Whatever you do is linked to the solicitation. So if they're looking for roofers, HVAC, solar, I've seen anywhere from retail for leasing, buildings for the government, containers, everything. Sell napkins if you wanted to.
You're a big systems guy, and I know that. And then for other small business owners that are out there potentially, listening this or whatnot, what are some of the systems that you have in place in your business that help you automate, help you delegate, help you just be more efficient?
So we purchased a lot starting up. I always go by the theory of, hey, if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. So being a big software guy and a systems guy, we started out with Job Nimbus to keep track of our customers, our CRM.
Nimbus?
Yeah, okay. Just to make sure that we can get to those individuals in an adequate amount of time. And then we integrated with Signpost to get our reviews, to make sure that we were able to get back to customers if we were text or called and we weren't able to get to the phone. And then we started out with some bidding solutions that we made ourselves, and then we started using Sumo Quote for professional proposals and different things like that. And and sometimes we'll use EagleView just to get adequate measurements. We'll do a lot of that, and a lot of these are systems, and people say it's new school way. I want a roof for a company that's boots on the roof and different things like that. But I guarantee you, if you have a dilapidated roof and you don't want the guy that's 250 plus pounds stumping up there, because if you're not gonna buy it anyway, and that shingle slide off, and then now you're gonna be pissed off. Yeah. So we use a lot of technology to our advantages. I'm a certified drone pilot also. I got my Part 107 to fly commercially, and we do our measurements that way. So there's a lot of different ways that you can enter this business or enter any business in this day and age, because technology is booming. It's growing every single day. It makes your life easier. It makes the customer's life a lot simpler. But yeah, that's some of the things that we use.
I've been seeing some things that saying AI is going to put marketers out of business. So
hey, ChatGPT, baby.
So kind of let's back up slightly when you said you have to try and try and try and try again, right? Mm-hmm. What motivates you to, when you swing and miss, to come back?
My wife and kids.
Okay.
Where it all started. My mom, my family. I'm a first generation college student, so nobody really pushed that envelope.
They didn't know, right?
Yeah, didn't know. Mm-hmm. It's not that they didn't want to, just didn't know.
True.
So when I'm down or when these things happen, I think back to them. I think back, looking at my kids, looking at my wife, and making sure that I'm doing the best of my ability while I'm here to leave a lasting legacy. And not just for myself, just an imprint on the world. That's what I want Builty to do. I want to be known as the trustworthy company that's transparent, that, made sure that, I kept you and your family dry from leaks and different things like that in the roof or whatever else we can help with. There's a lot of contractors that get a bad name. Texas, and a lot of people don't know, Texas does not require you to have licenses in roofing, licensing and roofing.
Wow.
So anybody can show up to do a roof and say they can do it. The only things that, that I'm aware of that they're required to have licensing in is electricians, HVAC, and plumbing.
Interesting.
So that's why I decided as a company to get licensed. Even though we don't have to, we decided to. We stay insured and we let our customers hold a certificate of insurance just so we can keep them protected. All of our workers have workers' compensation to make sure that themselves and their families are taken care of. And yeah, it's one of those things that keeps me grounded. Just my family, the customers I've helped, I know they depend on me in a way, and I know my family depends on me every day.
And sometimes, a lot of times I talk to my guys and I let them know there's certain non-negotiables, right? And in time they're getting certain opportunities or a certain situation that they need to see through, right, or continue. I always ask them, well, because I'm big on finishing what you start, right? Mm-hmm. So I tell them anytime they get down on themselves, remind yourself, why did you start to begin with? Why did you start, right?
Exactly.
And after they figure out why did they start, right, I then ask them, what are your inputs, right? Because your inputs determine your outputs, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And everybody get the results as whether you're a small business owner, you put that input in, you're going to get that result. And it can be a challenging endeavor, but just what are some of the upsides? Like, what do you like about being your own boss, basically?
Just the freedom, in the end, the idea for me is results back to family, really. And a lot of people will say freedom, and you do get that, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know you got all your customers are your boss. So.
Exactly. Like you can say you're your own boss and that's fine, but in the end, it's just like you put a lot of hours and time and late nights and early mornings into this thing to grow it. We're working on adding two new locations right now. That's one amazing. In Bryan, Texas, and one in Dallas. And you'll say, hey, you got a lot of free time, but it's like, nah, you really don't. But in the end, and kind of when I started this thing, you kind of bet on yourself, right? And that's what I did. And some people, and it's totally fine. A lot of people look down on having a 401k plan or a retirement plan or working day to day, clocking out and clocking in. Clocking in and clocking out. But that is totally okay because not everyone is built to be an entrepreneur. And just like not everyone is built to be a blue collar worker, right? I did my fair share of labor in the field for a while, and I got permanent scars. My best friend will probably tell you I damn near killed myself working at a lumber mill, getting hit by wood every day.
What would you say are some of the ingredients to create that entrepreneurial spirit or that entrepreneur?
One, it's one that you already said, your why. A lot of us have a why, and some of us haven't found it yet. But you have to figure out what that why is and understand that it's beyond you, right? As people say, you can get a lot of things in this world, but you can't take it with you. So your why and your legacy is one of those ingredients. The second thing is persistence, making sure you continue to get up and go back to back. One, and I don't know, a lot of people probably can or can't relate to this, but Russell Westbrook, got traded from the Lakers. I mean, he came off of seasons where, he's leading the the NBA in triple doubles. You know, he's one of the best slashing point guards there is, and he just had a bad season or so, a bad couple season actually. But one thing that admires me about that is that he spends a lot of time with his family. He puts his family first, and he continues to get up and continue to go to bat. Because if this guy wasn't performing and he didn't continue to come up and go to bat or go to work every day, no other team would sign him.
True.
He'll be out the league.
Yeah.
So, you know, persistence is one of those things. And lastly, I feel like transparency and clarity, you know, having clarity in what you do day to day, having transparency with your customers, and transparency is with yourself. Like sometimes you look in the mirror, you say, "My bad. That was a bad deal I made."
We coach here a lot with Ray Dalio, and one of his video, every single one of my guys have to watch before they come on board, is the principle of success.
Okay.
And he says in that very distinctly that, like, I think his first thing was be a hyper realist. That's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I messed up.
Yeah.
And then go fix it, right?
Yeah, and go fix it. And that's the hardest part. It's easy for us to make excuses. It's easy for something to be somebody else's issue or somebody else's problem, or somebody else's issue or problem cause your issue or problem. But in the grand scheme of things, we're all in control of that. And we have to step back and look at, hey, what can I control?
Yeah.
How can I be better?
Yep.
You know, all right, I did mess up. How can I take this to the next level and make the next step? How do I get to the step of telling somebody I messed up? That's the first thing. Like that took me so long to figure out, to be able to sit back and say, you know what? I was wrong. You know what? I don't know the answer to that. I didn't know. You know?
True.
A lot of us want to be experts in our field and want to know it all and just be, hey, I'm that guy or girl. But it takes another level of expertise to really step in and say, you know what? I'm still a student to this. Hey, Mr. Customer and Mrs. Customer, I'm going to learn from you also.
Yeah.
Hey, you give me the opportunity to grow, and I can give you the best service possible. You know?
Right.
So
I know you did a couple of other in your line of work, you've talked to a lot of people. But you think, where did you develop a lot of your communication skills earlier on?
Ooh. I attended Navarro College for my associate's degree. And in that time, I had the opportunity to be president of an organization called Helping Hands. And I had two mentors, Hakeem Jones and Waylon Matoir. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And at that time, I didn't know what I was doing. I was taking a stab at something. And they were like, hey, you want to try out, being president? I think you have, leadership qualities. And it took me getting a little bit uncomfortable, And once I got uncomfortable, I was able to learn some soft skills, learn how to talk to different people, different walks of life, and learn how to be a better communicator. But yeah, that's really where it all began. It's getting involved, and it's going to sound weird, trying to find peace.
Makes sense.
In relation to, and what I mean by that, a lot of people get complacent and comfortable, and a lot of people can't find comfortability in their. A lot of people can't find peace in their comfortability. So, for instance, I might be complacent and comfortable with a job, but I'm not happy. I'm not at peace, but I do it every day. Right? And so, in finding that peace, sometimes you have to get uncomfortable. And when you get uncomfortable and you find your area, now you found peace.
No, you found peace, right?
And that's just the game with entrepreneurship. Is just like, hey, let me get uncomfortable a little bit, and then maybe I do just want to work for myself or by myself or make as much money as I want to. And if that's my piece, I can't get it day to day going to work. I may have to be an entrepreneur and get to that next level. So
be comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird combination.
Yeah, it is. They have a saying that says, and I think I'm saying it right, that hard men, or let me repeat this, so I'm not messing it up. They say, strong men, right,
Yeah,
make good times. Good times make weak men. Weak men make hard times. So it's a cyclical thing, right?
yeah, it's a cycle.
It's a cycle. So for you, just all the stuff that you've learned and you're creating and you're building, you said the word legacy, okay? And to be a strong person, man or woman, that takes leadership. You did say the word leadership earlier. So in your definition, what does that mean to you in our space, right? If you're being a leader in a business, what does that look like to you?
It's definitely not the first to do something. In my eyes, it's the first that really takes time to analyze what they're doing and try to do it correctly and do it to the best of their ability. You may not be a leader at all. A leader can be subjective to the eyes of the beholder, right? So, as many parents, mothers and dads out there, I'm a leader to my kids, but somebody else may not be, and I'm not a leader to someone else's kids, right?
Understood.
So, it takes a lot of, like, I feel like analytical power to sit back and think and figure out, okay, how can I be a leader in my space for my customers, for my team? What does my team need? You know what's going on with your team, not your customer doesn't know, not another company, anything like that. So the way you kind of lead your organization will be based on what you're kind of surrounded by. So it's a good question, but it's one of those things that can definitely fluctuate based on your audience. A lot of people try to generalize a leader into what does a leader look like in these key terms or key steps, showing up on time, punctuality, and things like that. Those are just good skills in the workplace, to be honest. And if you have poor skills like that in the workplace and you have someone who demonstrates that, then they automatically become a leader. But then in your workspace, they're a leader. But let's just say in another workspace, everybody's on time. Everybody does do it right.
Right.
Are they still a leader?
Yeah.
So
it's definitely food for thought. So yeah, and in that concept, it's that Sherpa mentality, man. You're bringing people along, getting up that mountain, making the way, showing people where to put their foot, basically. So
Exactly.
that's key.
Yeah, and it's a big ordeal, and that's why I feel like role models are such an important thing.
Mentorship, right?
And mentorship. So role models come from different facets of life, and success looks different in everybody's eyes, so you can't really pinpoint what success is or what leadership is or who a role model should be to another person. It just depends on what your end goal is. Once you, again, take that time to sit back and figure out that end goal, you will soon start figuring out, okay, where can my leadership or where can my purpose flourish? Which is why you'll see people move departments and jobs, which is why you'll see people change jobs and do different things like that, because they're not able to flourish or serve their purpose in their
certain environment,
right?
That's that's a total fact. So for sure, man, you've definitely demonstrated like a lot of just knowledge in general. I appreciate you taking the time on your busy schedule to come out, sit down with us and kind of enlighten us a little bit on the roofing space. And this is an open platform, man. You can come by and when you get each one of those locations that you open, just come back and we can talk more.
It's definitely a challenge. We're working on again opening those locations. We want to actually add a brick and mortar skill school.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, it's one of those things where roofing isn't necessarily pretty, but in relation to what we're trying to do, we have a couple interns from Texas A&M that we're working with to give them project management skills and helping them, or they're helping us manage, projects and helping them get the knowledge and the things that they need to flourish either with our company or somebody else's. We're not trying to tie anybody just to what we're trying to do. Maybe they want to be their own entrepreneurs, right? And eventually my vision is to have some sort of program to teach craftsmanship, to teach roofing, to teach HVAC, and give these hands-on skills to individuals locally. And they have different schools that do those different things, but I want one essentially plex that can handle it all. And then hopefully once, the value is seen into taking those courses, we can teach people the soft skills and doing things the right way and taking care of customers and really give the contracting world back a better name.
Funny enough, you speak of education. I had a client that I met with last night, and it was a referral. A significant amount of my business started coming from referrals since I've been doing it for this long time. And I was sitting with her, talking with her, and lo and behold, she's been teaching at Texas Southern for 30 years.
30 years.
Did you know, she told me that they actually forgive her entire student loan because she's been in education for that long. That's a thing. I heard about that, but I've never met somebody
if you work for a government entity, they have loan forgiveness programs. I think if you it's almost like doing time. You give them like 10 years so.
Yeah, I was actually pleased to tell her that every single one of the sales that we do here at Sun Island, we actually donate $300 to Texas Southern.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Dude, like, you don't know how I felt when, like, at the end of the year last year, they sent me that statement. And I was like, man, Sheldon, you're doing this.
Hey, no, that's great.
It felt good because I think, like, you see, you have a lot of the Ivy League school and, large, well-known school. Mm-hmm. A lot of them have, funds where they put that fund in a stock market and it just grows and grows. So it's not even about who exists right now. It's 5 generations down the road. That's why those big, I think like with HBCU, they always get donations and stuff like that. But I think that people who attend them could definitely play a bigger part in,
for sure,
just giving back, man. Because if it was for TSU, I mean, nothing that I am right now, I wouldn't be. So it feels good to do stuff like that.
Yeah, we have some initiatives to start, visiting some HBCUs and giving individuals a glimpse into the construction space.
So I graduated with industrial technology, right, at Texas Southern. So very similar, and our focus was on construction and engineering, stuff like that. I know some of the professors there still, so
make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely.
That's something I really want to do because coming through the space and majoring in computer science, it's not a lot of people of color in those courses or in those professions, right? And it's not because it's not you can't do it or
it's exposure, man.
It's exposure.
That's
you don't know it's there.
You don't know.
Like, I never thought I'd be in a roofing business. Like, you don't see too many African-American roofing company owners, right?
True.
And it's one of those things that, through getting uncomfortable, I started gaining exposure to different things and different
exposure.
Options. So
yeah, that is a wonderful thing. I actually have a financial expert coming on in the next week, or it's coming on the podcast. Okay. And that's another area where people are just not aware.
Yeah.
So I feel so grateful to have this podcast, Energy Bridge Sun Island, where I can create a legit community where people can talk about stuff like this. Because as simple as this seems, a solar business owner, a roofing business owner, we're both, black. Yeah. people aren't seeing that as often, right? And then we can be as a role model in that regards. So it's, that's one of the reasons why I started that with the idea that I want to put my money where my mouth is. And as coming from a HBCU that helped me, that molded me. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for them, I would not have the courage to be an entrepreneur. They molded me from the beginning that, hey, you're gonna have to, if you want a genuine opportunity, you're gonna have to create it.
Yeah.
And I've tried the regular route. I've tried the corporate life, and it just, number one, it didn't match my personality. I don't think corporate life match a lot of Jamaicans, by the way. We're always trying to rule something.
Hey, man.
You know what I mean? But you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, now I follow you. And like I said, this is a great platform, and I hope you have me back.
I will.
Let's make it regular, man.
I will.
I've been looking to do something like this for a while, and it takes, like I said, in this regard, you're a leader to me. Starting something like this and having your own production and different things like that, I feel like this is an opening opportunity to.
So I tell you how being uncomfortable, you just keep along those lines. How something like this come about. My production guy runs a whole production company. And he took a chance to get uncomfortable. Like legit, he took a chance to get uncomfortable, and the synergy just worked out.
Hey.
He took a chance to get uncomfortable, and he was like, hey, Sheldon, I think I can serve you way better in this regard. It took a little bit of convincing because I'm like borderline introvert, extrovert. Like I'm on like 50%.
What is that? The omnivert, I think is what they call it.
I think so, right. So I can kind of be like a chameleon a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So he took a little bit of convincing. He was like, he just said stuff to me and it just kind of clicked. But if he did not, took a chance to get uncomfortable, my production guy, Adam, he's amazing. He's the one who does all this excellent work that comes to online and everything. If he didn't take a chance to get uncomfortable, we would have never met. You see? So it's just like, it's the law of attraction, basically. Yeah. So when you're on that frequency, like I am on, it attracted somebody that's legitimately on the same frequency, but just had different skill sets.
Exactly. And that's how you build a
team. And that's how we were able to put it together. So, I'm eternally grateful. I'm super happy that, because I don't have the skill set to do this. I know about solar, I know about sales, I know about starting a business, I know about a lot of stuff, but the skill set to do this, there's no way, right? So to get that together and to have somebody like yourself, that I admire, that I look up to as a role model, because you've been running your business way longer than I have, you see? So I do look up to you as a role model. So for you to mention that on this realm as well, that's welcome and appreciated,
I
so
appreciate that.
It was a pleasure, brother, having you. It really was, man, and we're for sure going to do this again, and as we grow as two business, we'll keep attached. And remember, we need to figure out how to get those links on the website, man.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
We'll get those things going.
Tap back into my web development days.
Yeah, right. We'll get those things going, man. So, hey, one love, brother.
Same, man.
Appreciate you coming up, man. Be blessed. For sure.